Welcome to Weird Wide Web, a series where I talk about weird things from the internet. On September 13th of 2005, World of Warcraft introduced its new raid, Zul'Gurub, and the raid's final boss, Hakkar the Soul Flayer. Hakkar had a unique ability called Corrupted Blood, which would initially deal between 875 and 1125 damage, and then deal 200 damage every second for 10 seconds. That's about 3,000 damage in total. But the worst part was, it was contagious. If a player experiencing the debuff was close enough to another player, they could be infected as well. And you could be infected multiple times. So two people standing close together could reinfect each other again and again until they either moved away or died. The Zul'Gurub raid was intended for higher level players, as this corrupted blood effect would instantly kill most lower level players. With it being so contagious, that sounds like it would become a game-wide pandemic. But don't worry, the effect was designed so that it would stay inside the raid area and not affect players on the outside. Players quickly stumbled upon a loophole. Pets and minions could also be infected with corrupted blood, but if you dismissed them before the effect wore off and then summoned them again outside of the raid, they would still be infected and contagious. Blizzard doesn't know who Patient Zero was or whether the spread was accidental or intentional, but regardless, World of Warcraft began experiencing a virtual plague. Cities with large populations like Ironforge and Orgrimmar became entirely infected within hours, including NPCs which could contract and pass on corrupted blood but couldn't die, helping it spread further. Players who died in populated areas and revived at their skeleton would usually be reinfected within seconds. Panic swept over the players, many of whom weren't familiar with the new raid and didn't even know what was happening. Blizzard was slow on the response, so players took it upon themselves to stem the flow of the disease. Many tried to flee the populated areas in an attempt to socially distance. Those who couldn't leave quarantined the major infected cities. Players with healing abilities used them to keep the infected from dying, while lower-level players who couldn't offer much help surrounded the city to warn others not to come in. By the time Blizzard asked the players to quarantine, most already were. But there were some who would hide on the mountains until a city recovered and then intentionally go in and reinfect them. If you're wondering, why not just log off? I assume you've never been really into an MMO. When playing a game for hours is part of your daily routine, it might as well be another facet of your real life. Besides, many players were actually still having fun playing the game. Seeing the plague is a challenge to overcome, I guess? Posters on Blizzard's forum were congratulating the company for the fantastic world event. Real-life epidemiologists regarded the corrupted blood incident as a model of what a real-world pandemic might look like. The CDC requested statistics from Blizzard in order to do research, but they declined. I guess they weren't happy about their game being compared to bird flu. Still, officials were fascinated by the similarities between corrupted blood and real-world diseases like these. They were also interested in the players who intentionally spread the disease, comparing their behavior to bioterrorists. This story takes on a new light in a post-2020 world, and it has been compared to COVID. In the end, about a month after it started, Blizzard reset the whole world and patched out the pet loophole.